Hey, real life, what's happening? I hope you guys are doing good. Beautiful people of the YouTube world. How you guys doing today? Um, Today we're gonna talk about people jumping in because people join the stream whenever. So anyway, let's chat a bit before jumping into the topic. But what are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna talk about today? Today we're gonna talk about what do you do if you don't have any experience? Like, what do you do? Are there ways to build experience when you're trying to get a job as a developer, you know, and how do you break into the field? And that's what we're going to talk about. I have no experience. What's next? So that's what we're going to talk about. You know what I like, if you've been watching my streams, I tell you kind of outline the steps that I took. And I think there's many ways of doing things. But at the end of the day, there's going to be certain key points that are going to be similar that people use to get jobs. And now the one thing that I want to be careful of is that there are people that could write articles, and they're writing articles by doing research, which is great, which we're going to take a look at. We're going to actually randomly pulled up a bunch of Google articles on how do you gain experience in web development. They're going to see what things they talk about, what works, what doesn't. And then there are people like me who literally had to switch careers late in their 30s, decided to become a software engineer, studied, worked hard, got rejected bajillion times, and eventually got his first job. And I'm going to talk about what I did and what I continue to do, not only to grow and continue to grow my experience as a developer, but also this idea of promoting yourself, getting yourself out there in the community so you could start to build authority. Because to be frank, if nobody knows who you are, how are you going to build connections that are potentially going to get you hired? One example I'm going to say, if you haven't seen my video I did with Smilga, he had no idea who I was. I did take his classes at the time. Like, I switched my Udemy name to Coding After 30, so it's more recognizable. But Python and stuff, shouldn't you be sleeping, bro? What is happening? What is happening? What's up, Python? Hey, let me say hello before I continue. NC in the house. Hello. He says this stream is for him. Python and stuff, always good to see you. Love you, brother. Logic Indie, great to see you here. Awesome. Great to have all you guys here. And so everybody kind of has the thing that worked for them. Hologram Nunchucks, great to see you, my friend. The beautiful people of YouTube coming in and joining this amazing, well, I don't know if this stream is going to be amazing, but we're going to talk about how to gain experience. We're going to look at every possible nook and cranny that we find, basically the first top articles on how to get experience on Google. And I'll give you my opinion, what I think, because I still stick to my plan. But coming to this idea, I met Smilga eventually because I took his courses, but he had no idea who I was. He has 66 bajillion thousand students, and how would he know? And so through YouTube, building kind of, I guess, I don't know, like authority in the space of coding. I don't know what you would call it, but basically putting myself out there. Eventually we got together and we were able to get some interviews done, and it was amazing. I was honored to have him. But if I didn't put myself out there, if I didn't do some sort of form of marketing or putting myself out there trying to get discovered, would he ever find me? No, he wouldn't. He would not find me. And this is kind of what you guys have to do as developers. Be able to, okay, I have my technical skill, but if I don't have my, what else do I need to do? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Raymond, what's up, buddy? Good to see you as always. And glad to have everybody here on this stream that I keep saying is going to be amazing, but I keep crossing and praying because who knows if my streams are amazing. But glad to have all you. By the way, I want to say congratulations to you guys for helping me reach 3,000 subscribers. I've had no idea this day would come. And also because Smilga is so awesome, his video was loved by everybody, and everybody's like, let's subscribe to this guy on YouTube. Just because, if John likes him, he must be cool. But anyway, it was very awesome. And hey, good to see you. It's 1 a.m. now, so we'll catch up later. Look forward to our video. Yeah, guys, by the way, I'm going to be talking to Python and stuff. We're going to record the video because our time zones are kind of late, and he's got to wake up super early. I got to stay up super late, but we're going to record some Python stuff, why he chose to do Python, and I'll post those videos as they come out. And by the way, go check out Python and stuff if you guys are interested in Python, by the way, he's using one great strategy of making videos and sharing them on LinkedIn to continue to build his authority as a Python developer, which I'm going to use you as an example today, Wahid. And Alejandro, what's up, buddy? What's your native language? He's asking. I'm Russian. I am from Russia. Lucky, what's up? Привет, друзья, как у вас все дела? Boom, that's my Russian. Do I know more? I do, but it's really bad because I've been in America forever. Funny story, when I went to Russia, this is a while ago, by the way, so if my fiance is watching, don't think anything of the story. But I went to Russia, Moscow, to visit my dad because he still lives there. And, you know, I was single at the time, so I was like, I'm going to go to the Russian club to hang out. And so I'm like, I'm going to try to speak Russian because I don't want to say I'm an American, right? I want to just be Russian. And so I would try to speak Russian to people, and that was great, but everybody kept asking, you're Russian, has an accent, where are you from? And I wanted to say, I'm from America. I mean, from America, god damn it, I'm from Russia. But they're like, your Russian has an accent, because I've been in America for a while. And I'm like, okay, I'm not Russian, I'm American. And nobody believed me that I was American either. And I was like, what am I gonna say? I'm not Russian, I'm not American, then where am I? Where am I? And the funniest part, eventually I started speaking English to girls because there was a lot of Russian girls who were speaking English. And I also started talking to my sister, who happened to be more comfortable with English. But this other girl saw me talking to my sister. She assumed that I was trying to pick up an American chick, being like a Russian dude. And she came in and slapped me in the face, telling me, you should be ashamed of yourself. There's plenty of good Russian girls here. Why are you trying to pretend that you know English and trying to pick up American chicks? I was like, oh my God, this night can't get any worse. Like, what the hell is going on here? I'm like, first of all, this is my sister. The reason we speak English is because we're more comfortable speaking English to each other. And by the way, I am actually Russian. But whatever. Anyway, that's a funny story that happened to me. What is the relevance of that story to what we're going to discuss today? Absolutely nothing, except that was the dumbest story you guys probably heard, and I hope it made you guys happy for a little bit. But anyway, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button because it helps the algorithm to keep going. But coming back to this idea, thank you guys for supporting this channel. I started as some dude on the internet. When I started this channel, I didn't even have a job. I didn't have a job. I was trying to get employed. I was literally a dude on the internet trying to make things happen, and I started talking about my advice from the standpoint like I had no job yet. And I would say, look, I have no job, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And because of you guys, we were able to get to 3,000 subscribers. It's going to keep growing, but I want to show you something, guys. Check this out. This is obviously my channel. We're already at 3.1K. That's impressive, and it's all you guys, because if you guys did not believe in the content that I do, if you guys didn't support what I do, this would never happen. But let's look at the videos here and kind of memory lane here. Let's sort by, we're not going to watch any videos, by the oldest videos. I made this, what is React.js, how to get started with React for beginners. Obviously, this doesn't have a lot of views. Still probably my favorite video because it was the first video. I made this video 4 years ago, right? So I started this YouTube channel 3 years ago. And like these initial videos, me just literally struggling, all this stuff, like struggling to learn to code, all these like unprofessionally done videos before I started taking things seriously. For a while, I literally was unemployed, trying to figure out how do you build experience, how do you get hired. And then eventually, you know what, I got hired, I started to do the things, and eventually we ended up here where instead of being completely some random dude online, I'm some random dude online who's starting to get amazing guests. Like John Smilga was amazing, and I'm starting to like kind of know what I'm talking about. Like half the time I don't know. I still don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, a lot everybody's like, oh wow, the story's crazy, the story was wild, lol. Yep, that's what I said, lol. And you know, I've been to Russia. Cool. Where in Russia have you been? That's kind of awesome. Yeah, Russia is cool. Like, I'm hoping one day to go back. I don't think right now you're able to go back to Russia. I'm not like for Americans to go, because I left Russia as a refugee. So back in the day they were communists, so I kind of ran away from Russia. And so I'm an American citizen, so going back there right now, like Russians can't come here and Americans can't go there that easily. So hopefully that changes, because it'll be cool to go see my dad. But anyway, today we are going to talk about, you know, I have no experience. What's next? Like, what do I do? Like, How do I build experience? So first we're going to start looking at some articles. I want to talk about kind of like read the articles that they show, give my opinion, and hear from you guys if you're using any of these strategies, if some of these strategies are not legit or they're legit. And when it comes down to getting a job, there's so many different strategies that you could use. There's so many different things you could do. And it's very important to kind of figure out what are the best things for you and do those things and continue moving forward. But talking to some of you guys from the channels, talking to some of you guys from the Discord, a lot of you guys, like a good amount of you guys, are landing jobs. And so if you ever want to share your story to come in the live stream, let me know. Definitely would love to have you. Or definitely let us know in the comments that you guys, what you did, how you did it, talk about your journey. All right. Woo, I have no experience. Can you give me some tips? You should be giving us your tips, my man. Woo is actually awesome, dude. So I spoke with him on the phone. Like all of you guys, there's such a great community. I'm so amazed. And by the way, if you want to join our Discord, here you go. But everybody here is super awesome. I learn just as much from you guys as I hope like I'm able to give value back to you guys. And so, by the way, we're going to look at some articles. We're going to talk about, finding experience. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I'm doing. Are they worth it? Are they not worth it? What can you do? How can you improve? And let's just kind of dive into it. At any time, if you want to interrupt me, have a conversation, take it to a place, let us know, and we're going to get started. So I found this, how to get your first job with no experience, and this is on dev.io. So we're going to take a look here. Obviously, what we preach on this channel is have a portfolio ready. And I realize I'm not sharing my screen because I'm an idiot. So let's share the screen. Let's share that screen. Hey, Luke, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Hope you are doing great. So we're talking today on how to, I have no experience. What do I do? What can we do? Let's look first at what the internet has. My volume cut off. Let me know if you guys could hear me because it seems like my volume is working. It's working, is it? Let me know, guys. Who says that my volume cut off? I don't know if it's on my end or somebody else's end. So before we continue, let me know if you guys could hear me and stuff like that. And it might be because let me know if the audio is working before we continue. Is my audio still working? It should be working. I see it doing something. But let me know in the comments if the volume is working. Otherwise, we'll continue talking about this idea of I have no experience. What do I do? How do I get my first web dev job with no experience? And we're going to look at a bunch of articles first, and then I'll give you guys my feedback. I want to have you guys chime in on the conversation, because the reason why I do these live streams is because I really enjoy talking to people. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. I can hear. Thanks, NCH. And so let's get into it. So obviously, we're going to browse through these quickly. If something catches our eye, we're going to talk about. And this is kind of like what I talk about, I already see. So have a portfolio. So if you guys are out there trying to get a job and you don't have a portfolio yet, I mean, you should probably have one if you don't have a college degree. And I talked to, and Wu says it might be his computer. Yeah, but thanks for letting me know, because I remember sometimes I don't know. So other people here, thank you. Idrissa, that's great. And I'm on mobile first, awesome. And so having a portfolio is very important. So I talked to a couple of you guys, and I am very amazed. There's one gentleman here, and normally I would mention names, but I didn't ask first if it's okay to mention. But this is a person who's I try not to mention names unless it's okay to talk about them. But this person is going to computer science degree. They have one more year left, studying like crazy, working like crazy, really putting in the hustle. And one of the things he said to me is look, I also want to have a good portfolio on top of that. I don't just want to rely just on my degree. And believe me, if you could go and get a computer science degree, look, I'm going to say it, do it. If you can't do it, if it's a realistic thing for you to go and you could computer science degree next 4 years, don't hesitate if you want to be a software engineer, because it's going to build a all-around great experience for you. For me, I'm 30. Well, I was 39 when I got my first job. I'm 41 now. To go to school for me right now if I didn't have a job, I would highly consider it. I would highly consider it, but I was able to land a job. So don't underestimate that people say you don't need no stinking college degree. It helps. You don't need it. You can do it. But then you'll be in this boat like we are right now. I have no experience. What do I do? How do I get a job? And so this is what we're going to talk about. So if you are self-taught, if you are coming off a boot camp and you can't get a job, let's talk about these tips today that could help you get hired. I'm going to show you some of the tips I used and tricks that helped me to look on my portfolio that I'm not an aspiring junior developer, but I actually already working, even though it could be a freelancing company that you and your friends set up, and even though maybe you only had one client and that didn't even pay you for all the work that you did. But the fact is that still counts as experience. But we could talk about that now. So having a portfolio, and this person, and he just says, not just talk about the way it looks and functionality either. Your code should be clean, efficient as you can get it. And obviously, he's like, what is he saying here? You have to write the best code that you can. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Like, I hope you guys are not like, oh, I'm just gonna write half-ass code and expect it. No, like always, everybody thriving. I'm not gonna make fun of this person, but listen, is have 3 to 5 projects in your portfolio. And I think this is a good number. And what I say to people is like, okay, depending what you're going for, and I'm talking from the standpoint of a React developer, but then, you know, if you're going to be full stack, make sure you definitely have a full stack application in your portfolio. If you're doing more backend and you're solving the, you know, some complex problems, make sure you put that in your portfolio as well. But from the standpoint of a web developer, 3 to 5 projects I think is good. Number one, you should have a basic HTML and CSS website, kind of like I shared that I have. Number two, you should have some sort of basic React application, and I'll show you some examples of that. If you want to see it, let me know in the chat. That is getting data from a backend API and display on the screen. And number three, you should have a more complex app which has authentication, has a database that you're working on, and then you are able to show full CRUD functionality. So if you have those 3 projects, I think you're going to be on a good pace. And those of you who are jumping on and you're like, oh, Paul is just talking and talking, he doesn't do. No, I do. By the way, I made this Community One project. Community One project, by the way, not only like for us to use as developers. By the way, this app is not done, so give me a break. But at the same time, I'm able to showcase some examples of the projects that you could have. So for a basic project, something like this is a basic HTML and CSS website. You could go to the live demo here. And, you know, basic project is responsive. You know, you should have something which has a HTML, CSS, and as a bonus, you could add some basic JavaScript. Now, let me close this window back up here. You know, here's an so for your first project, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For a second project, build something with React that connects to an API and gets data. And this is another one I show you guys. By the way, if you want to list your portfolios here on this website, just to share with the world, even though this website is still in production, send me a link either to my email, codingafter30@gmail.com, or if you're on Discord, let me know on Discord, because I'd love to showcase your portfolios on this site as well. But we go to the live demo. Now, this was built for the cell phone, so it doesn't look that pretty on the big screen here. So let me go into the phone view here. iPhone something, I don't know, responsive. Let's look at the iPhone 6. So this is the basic React application built, which basically gets data from an API and displays it, you know, by country. It has, you know, the stats for the pandemic. It has the maps. You could click on the map. I have to finish it. I didn't finish the pop-up yet, you know, work in progress, but you click on the table, like country, it'll take you to that country. I'll show you the specific data, show you where it's on the map. So it looks complex, but it's really not complex, because all you're really doing is, and I'm using third-party library to show the map and do the graphing here. Do this graph. I didn't do it from scratch, by the way, but it basically showcases, you know, how to get a data from API and make calls to it. And your complex project, this could be this example here, is building something which will have this ability to have multiple users. By the way, this is not working yet, but that's the next step. Add the comment section here, so you guys could start commenting on portfolios, but build something like we're doing And by the way, if you want to see me talk about this project, this is the project we're building on the Tuesday night stream at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you're around, jump in. By the way, if you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button for not me, but for all of you beautiful people supporting and giving your feedback while we're chatting live on this stream, by the way. And somebody just said to me like a while ago that I have super chat. I don't even know, but if you ever wanted to support, I'm not saying you should, but if you wanted to buy me coffee and use super chat, hey, go ahead and do it. I won't stop you donating money, but you don't have to, by the way. Like anyway, but so building something that is a little bit more complex. So what I mean here is we already have authentication. So when you're building your third project for your portfolio to gain experience, you want to build something that utilizes authentication and some sort of CRUD functionality. So here you're able to log in. I always forget the login information, so I'm going to try write my password. Apparently, I don't know how to log in, so we have an error. I should have an account to my own goddamn site. I have 2 passwords that I commonly use, so don't try to guess them. So that is apparently the wrong one, and so let me see if the other one works. Unless someone hacked me and destroyed my site. You know what? I believe I probably switched the username. Let me try another one. What is my password? Jesus Christ. Look at this. Embarrassing. Oh, I'm using the wrong email. Coding After 30 Coaching. Don't try to send me emails there because I made that one a long time ago. It doesn't work. It does not work. It's Coding After 30 at Gmail with the proper password. So notice how we have authentication. We have this concept of different users. So like when I like this post, right, I like it as a user, and in a database it tracks, Paul liked the cocktail recipe search, portfolio project. If you go to details, it has the user information for the person who posted this project, which happens to be me. And we have this dashboard section. Right now it has very simple application. We got reading, obviously. So CRUD is create, read, update, delete. So we got the read part. We're getting data from our API that we created. And I cheated. I used Strappy, which if you're not a full stack developer, Strappy is a good way to create a quick API that you could connect to. But if you go to dashboard here, this is the create portion where you get to create a new entry, write all your stuff here, click, create project. It's going to create a project. And then next, I'm going to have an update option that I still have to implement. But the whole point in this project that I'm building on the stream is to create user authentication, which we did, have full CRUD functionality, create, read, update, delete, that stores it to data, and go from there. So basically the whole point is that you can't just build a simple project or 3 different clones of Twitter or whatever that just looks good, but you need to focus on the functionality as well. But let's back up to moving forward. So 3 to 5 projects, like we said, iterate. First one should be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Second project should be basic React application that connects to an API and just displays the data, filters the data, but you don't have to create or update. And then your third application should be your CRUD application, which is create, read, update, delete, and you should work with some sort of authentication. And if you have any questions about anything, let me know. I don't want to just talk just from the sake of talking. So we're moving on. Then it says you should have some references ready, and I think this is important. And I'll show you what there are lots of different references. You could have your friends that call you, but it's nice if you could. Let me go to my LinkedIn account here, Paul Braslavsky, view full profile. If you could get on LinkedIn, and it doesn't even have to be people you worked with, but if you could find someone that could write a recommendation or a reference for you that you're friends with or not friends with, that is amazing, especially if you could do it on LinkedIn. And also, if when you get an interview and they ask you for references, I could tell Brandon or Avinash, hey, listen, I'm looking for a job at this company. They're going to give you a call. I just want to give you a heads up, And this way, when someone's hiring you and they call, they could ask your friends, oh, hey, I'm calling because Paul used you as a reference when he's looking for this position. How's Paul? And they'll be able to tell, oh, Paul is really good or Paul's really crappy. Obviously, you should have good references. Don't try to trick anybody. have honest references, but it does build that social proof. So I kind of like this tip here. Show your non-technical skills. So this is, and then make sure you understand the basic concept of an interview, and we'll kind of scroll down to the second once we get there. But show your non-technical skills. This is, by the way, very important. So there was an excellent video, and let me share this with you because if you guys haven't seen it, it's worth checking out. CS50, I don't know if you guys ever seen their videos. They just did a live, and let me see if I could find it. CS50. Why this is not CS50? I hope they didn't make it private. CS50 interview. How to prepare for a technical interview. If you're not going to watch this right now, I'll put this in the link. By the way, guys, this is a great video to watch if you start to interview and you want to get some tips on how to prepare for they talk about a lot of stuff. They talk about different interviews. Some interviews will ask you to build something. Some interviews will do more algorithmic whiteboarding interviews, and this is kind of what they cover more here. But it's still a good all-around video to watch if you want to get some basic ideas of what you should do. And we'll talk more about interview prep. I just want to mention it here. But show your non-technical skills. So it's very important that when you go on an interview, remember, they're not just hiring you because you're good at coding. The fact of the matter is, coding, they could teach you programming. They could teach you, how to code. You could learn from other developers and you could develop that skill. But they also want to see your non-technical skills of how do you communicate on a team. And I'll give you one example here. When you are doing interview questions and when they ask you a question that you might not know the answer, if you kind of freeze up and you just go silent, that's going to look bad. It shows that you're not willing to reach out. You're not looking to ask follow-up questions, and there's going to be a red flag. But I'll give you an example. I was doing a interview, and they started asking me questions about TypeScript. And I'm like, look, I don't know TypeScript because I haven't had the need to use it in my projects, but I understand the problem it solves. It allows JavaScript to have stronger types to prevent some common errors that you could encounter with JavaScript. And even though I don't know it now, I am willing to learn. And so the interview, oh, that's no problem. You could answer these questions using JavaScript. So you need to kind of have this ability to not be afraid to talk to your interviewer, ask questions, feel comfortable saying you don't know something. Or if you're doing an algorithm, this is something that I learned recently, is if you get stuck, you could literally ask, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. Am I on the right track? You could actually ask that to your interviewer, and your interviewer actually expects that because they want to see if you're willing to have a back and forth conversation, and they'll say you're on the right track, or no, you're kind of not moving in the right direction, and they might actually say, why don't you take a look here, and they point you to the right direction. And I heard with so many interviewers where they actually want to help you because they don't want you to fail. They want you to succeed. And also they want to kind of know, they also know that some people freeze at the interview, they go blank. So they want to give you something to bring you back, to help you to continue the interview positively. Obviously, if you don't know anything, just say, I don't know this part. Don't try to fake it, but that's something good to keep in mind. And do employers ever run optimization tests like Lighthouse on project? It's a great question, and I would say it depends what role you're applying. I personally did not have this happen to me, but I'm assuming if you're applying to the position where maybe it's more of a mid-level job and they're actually specifically part of the requirement is making sure that you're writing optimized code that is fast in the browser and everything loads good, it doesn't have any accessibility like errors, they might actually ask this. But in our case, from the standpoint, junior level stuff, a lot of times you probably won't get that question. By the way, here's another thing I learned. So I have a friend that I recently made, and eventually we'll have some more videos, but he's interviewed at all the FANG companies. Smart kid, because he's only been coding for 2 years. So I'm like, God, how are you so smart? But he told me some bunch of stuff and bunch of tips. And one tip he told me is look, a lot of times when you're applying for back-end developer jobs or back-end heavy jobs, that's where they're going to ask you more algorithmic type of questions. Where in his experience, whenever he applied to front-end heavy, like React or, web development, where it's more focused on the front end, a lot of the interview questions were around, building that UI component and presenting it in the UI. And if they did ask algo questions, they weren't as deep as if they would ask a backend developer. They might ask something like, how do you, work with arrays and stuff like that, so that's something to keep in mind. And so let's see, make sure you understand the basic concept for interviews. Interviews are where a lot of confidence gets destroyed if you aren't prepared before you go to an interview. Read through the job description. Yeah, this is like super important here. When you're going to a interview, right, make sure you do the research. Make sure you know the company, what it is, and make sure you know what tech they're using. Nice, I love this. Научи меня русскому. He wants me to teach him Russian. Привет means hi. That we'll start there. Пошел на. Never mind. I'm not going to use that. That's a bad one. I didn't finish it. So, hey, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. And a lot of you guys actually talk to on the phone. By the way, if you ever need help or just want to chat with someone, you can always reach out to me. But everybody's like so awesome, and I'm just reminded, like, I don't want to like call anybody out, but like, man, you guys are awesome. This is what I love about you guys. I keep coming back to you. I love about you guys, my community, that all of you guys are actually like committed to making progress, getting the job, kicking that door down, getting that interview, moving forward. You're actively working, you're actively pushing yourself, and I love it because that's how we're going to make progress. But let's kind of come back on this. Make sure the basic concept of interviews, well, nobody, like, whatever, it doesn't matter what they say here. The main point, understand the basics of coding basically and what you're being interviewed. But this is one thing is, I realized I wasn't sharing my screen here. Let me share my screen here. We're kind of in this section. Make sure you understand the basic concept of interviews. Interviews are where a lot of confidence get destroyed if you aren't prepared. That is true. I really agree with this part here. But the point that I wanted to make is, learn stuff about the company that you're applying to, right? Very important that you know what they do. If you could figure out the tech that they're using is even better, because at least you could talk about it. Because when I went to an interview, I knew that they use JavaScript, React, GraphQL, TypeScript. And when I was talking to the interviewee, and I did pretty well in the interview, by the way, I was not just like listening. I was like, hey, I know this is what you do, XYZ. This is the products you're developing, and I know you use React and GraphQL. And what issues have you been running into lately, or what problems have you solving? And I literally turned the conversation to them to have the interview kind of tell me what kind of stuff they're dealing with on everyday normal basis. And the reason why I do that in the interview is because they're going to tell me something, oh, blah 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 blah, we did this and that, and I could be like, hey, you know what, I could now bring it to myself and be like, show them that I'm able to bring value to the conversation. Be like, hey, that's awesome, my last project, that's exactly what I did, and I had the similar problem you guys having, and this is how I solved it. Привет means buddy. Привет means hi. Buddy is like друг, or друг is my friend. You could say that. Друзья, that's plural for friends. But yeah, привет just means hi. But listen, if someone's saying привет to you, that means they're your buddy. So I guess, like, you know. But anyway, so you need to kind of be positioned in a way where you're able to ask these questions. Another thing, here's I realized I again didn't share my screen. This is what I thought. So be prepared for the interviews. But what am I doing with my computer? I don't know. But here's the thing. I went to an interview, and the interview before me, the guy, because it was a small company, the boss was the owner, and he one of those hard and loose bosses from 1980s who basically yells at people all the time. He was yelling at the guys like, look, you didn't blah, 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 get out. And I'm like, I got to follow that up next. I got to go interview that. And the guy, literally, this is how he started the interview. I come in, he's like, I bet you're the same as that other guy. Did not even bother to Google my company for a few minutes and find out what we do here. You probably did not do that. You know what? Tell me something about my company, and if you don't, get the hell out. That's literally what he said to me. Luckily, I did spend a couple of minutes of Googling the night before, and I knew that they make HR software for hospitals, and I was able to say, you do HR, blah, 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 for like customers. You guys worked with C# on your back end, React on the front end, and you're hiring me for a React position because you need to blah, 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 and I explained it. And he was impressed that I actually did and know something about their company. And so don't underlook. This approach here, be willing to do shotgun application. And let's read what they said first before I talk about getting your first anything without experience is hard, but it's not impossible. There's a position for you somewhere. It's waiting for you. Do the work to get through. You might mean you have to do 3 to 10 applications a day. And that part I could agree with. There's no magic to it. But if you keep applying to jobs, going on interviews, asking for feedback, and doing absolutely everything you can, you will get that job. And I agree with that. But this idea is that he's making it like very interesting. He says, be willing to do shotgun applications, do so many applications, but then that's not the important part. Shotgun approach is not going to work for you because people are not going to return your calls if they see you're not experienced. I've had an application until I rewrote it. Damn it. You guys yell at me when I don't share my screens. By the way, talk about send out 3 to 10 applications and be willing to do shotgun approach. But if you do shotgun approach, leave it and forget, it's not going to work for you. This is the part that you need to do consistently. If you keep applying, going on interviews, asking for feedback, right? And then he forgets to put something in here, which just says, once you get the feedback, if you don't get hired, fix that thing that you were missing, and then reapply and continue the process. And then he kind of does this general statement, or she does. Absolutely do everything you can, you will get hired job. Of course, if you do everything you can, that's not very specific enough, you will get a job. And then she talks about, you see 5 years experience, a lot of them asking for it, don't get discouraged, apply to them anyway. So we'll move on to the next article in a second. But this idea here is that you need to treat getting a job the same way as you treated learning to code initially. It's a skill that you have to develop. There are certain steps that you have to take. And every time you fail, every time you fall down, you have to get up and you have to get to it. And let's look at the amazing questions that you guys have. What do you do if an interviewer ignores or laughs at you in an interview? That interviewer is a fucking moron. You know, sorry for me to swearing, but that's very unprofessional. If you go to a company to apply, and the interviewer laughs at you, run, get the hell out. That company is not worth your time. If they're not able to treat you with respect, then your working there won't help you. Even if they do hire you, you already know how their personality is and you know they're complete pieces of crap. And so, yes, it sucks you did not get the job, but walk away, thank them for their time, but don't waste your time. Don't try to impress them. Don't try to chase those fucking idiots. What do you do if anyone ignores you and laughs at you? I don't like swearing, but in this case, they're a complete effing moron. And I would punch him in the face if I was able to. If I lived like back in the times when that was socially, you know, normal, I would do it. Like, no, like, listen, don't listen to me. I'm just kidding. But the point, what I'm trying to say, don't waste your time on people like that. I have a friend, he does interviews, right? And he works for a huge company, by the way, and he keeps his level of professionalism throughout the whole interview. And he told me he had some, like, because I always ask him because I don't feel confident at interviewing a lot of times, even to this day, but he always tells me, Paul, there's plenty of interviewees that I have that are not as good as you, and they ask and say some of the craziest stuff. And he's like, I don't laugh at them. I don't try to make him feel bad. If anything, I try to back up and ask him more simpler questions to help him to kind of, you know, find their footing and at least kind of allow me to see where they are. So during this interview, I could give them some constructive feedback so they could maybe not get the job today, but they know what they need to do to get that job tomorrow. So if anybody laughs at you, get the hell out of there. Don't like deal with them. Like, you know, because I know when I first started, I asked my friend the dumbest questions. I didn't know what I was doing. And, you know, that's where we all start. And that's a shame that you had that experience. And let's look what Wu says. Anyone looking for the first web job, you should look into your local digital agency. They're willing to hire, train you with minimum experience as you're looking, have some project to show. 100% Wu. Like, let me kind of show you my LinkedIn, like to show my experience here. So, by the way, the junior JavaScript developer, Fluid Logic Design, this was a company my friend and I started just so I could have some sort of experience on LinkedIn. So when recruiters come on to my LinkedIn, they wouldn't see here aspiring developer. They would see that I was working at Fluid Logic Design as a React developer. And was that a successful company? No, it wasn't, but we built stuff and that counted to my experience. And I have 1 year and 6 months of experience at that company. But here's the thing here. Front-end web developer at Point. Oh, Jesus. Guys, sorry that I'm not sharing my screen. I'm such an idiot. I apologize to you guys. I gotta share your goddamn screen, Paul. So, sorry about that. So, this is what I want to show you. So, my initial experience was Fluid Logic Design. It was a company my friend and I did. We didn't have that many customers. Did we succeed? No, we didn't. But this is where I worked as a developer, transferring HTML to React single-page applications. And I put that as my experience, and I had it LinkedIn. I had it on my LinkedIn here. So instead of saying aspiring engineer, I actually had worked at Fluid Logic as a React developer. And you're more hireable if you already have a job. It's just the case. And Wu, like he said, anyone looking for their first job, getting hired at a digital marketing agency is phenomenal advice, and 100% reach out, connect, write emails, do what it takes. I started as a front-end web developer here. Let me show you 3 more experience here because it's lower. I started at Point Marketing, same company. I got an internship at a local digital, what am I doing? Marketing agency. I worked that internship. It was unpaid, but it turned into a paid contract role. And so I worked there. And I'm sorry, what am I showing you? This one, Point Marketing. I ended up working there for 8 months. So between my internship and my position there, it was 1.5 months. And what I was able to do, it's actually this one, this right here. You could always like look at my LinkedIn. And then eventually, after those 1.2 months of experience, I was able to land a job at Versa Suite, like a real legit software engineer job that I worked for 1 year and 5 months, and that led into my current job. So yeah, Wu, 100%, don't underestimate going for marketing agencies that are local. And a lot of times the type of web development they ask you to do, it's working with WordPress or Squarespace. Guess what? You're still doing some form of front-end web development. So don't let, oh, I'm not working with React. Who cares? You're getting points on your resume. Who cares? I worked with PHP, HTML, and CSS, and most of it was HTML and CSS, the super basic stuff, but it's still time in my experience that helped me get my React job. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you need to know React, but that's the thing. Shotgun approach has not been working for me, and it probably won't for many people. And here's the reason why. There's many reasons, but one reason, and let me kind of show you this. Also, let me show you my first resume. Drive. The reason why shotgun approach doesn't work is because there's no way for you to get feedback, because whenever you do 1,000 application, you get 1,000 no's. You get 1,000 no's, and you don't get anywhere. And one of the reasons, a lot of times when you send out application, what is your limiting factor? Well, they don't know you, so they're obviously making that decision based on your application. Obviously, that's what they're deciding. So here was my original resume here, guys. I'm gonna share it with you guys. Please don't call me. It has my phone number, or email me. I mean, you can, but listen, I respect you by sharing my true identity with you guys. So please have some decency and respect for me too, because I want you to know I'm a real person. And the stuff that I talk about, I'm not making this stuff up. This is the stuff I struggle with. This is what I had to do. So I did the shotgun approach with this app, application, right? This is me. This application, by the way, has the same experience that my new application has, but look at it. It's not readable. Some people might think it looks good, it's great, but this is, you know, and by the way, I put reference available upon request is just in case if they ask me about my education. I didn't want to put it on my resume because I didn't have any education. I dropped out school like 10,000 times. This is my old resume. So doing the shotgun approach, sending out this resume, I got 1,000 no's and nobody ever responded to me and said, Paul, your resume is not good enough. Your resume is not eye-catching enough to be able to get somebody to take you seriously as a developer. So shotgun approach doesn't work if you're not getting feedback. If every person you apply to, they got back to you and said like your resume sucked, that's why we didn't hire you, or you lacked experience in React, that's why we didn't hire you, or you weren't using the tech stack, that at least you're getting feedback. And then you could at least change something about it. So shotgun approach is worthless. It's garbage. And so unless you're getting feedback, let me rephrase that. Unless you're getting feedback. So let's take a look at my new resume. It's night and day. Look at this. Boom. Paul Berslavsky. Same experience as the previous resume, but it's super readable. It's nice. It's got bullet points. It's got the tech that I know and use in level of confidence. It shows the frameworks, my non-technical, I broke my resume, my non-technical skills, strong verbal communication, public speaking, team-oriented, all accountable, all that stuff important. And so don't underestimate this ability to be able to talk to people and work on a team. That matters on an interview 100%. And so this resume is just way better. It's way better. It has my other stuff, like, for a while I used to run a martial art business for a majority of my life until 2015. And then it has my experience. And by the way, we could talk about later, not this stream, how you could use your personal projects and write them in a way that on your resume looks like a job, kind of like, it does here. And the point that I was trying to make, if you do a shotgun approach and you're not getting feedback, it's a way like you don't know that you have to make the changes. Like for my resume here, the reason why this resume, by the way, this resume, I didn't make it myself. I just bought a template and I filled in my information. There's nothing wrong buying proven templates that work online and just filling in your information. Because this is a proven resume template that works. That's why I used it. And that's people that see my resume. I had a bunch of recruiters look at my resume. They're like, oh, your resume is very nice. And the only reason it's nice is because I paid. You don't have to pay for a template. You could buy, find one online, but use a good template, fill in your information, and make sure it follows this style. Bullet points of stuff that you did. Wrote maintainable and reusable code using latest ES6, JavaScript, and React features. Very important to remember. So you need to make feedback. Another reason why shotgun approaches don't work is because cold calling. I'm sorry that I'm going to use this example with dating because I don't know any other examples. But the acquaintance of doing a shotgun approach for your resume is the same as you see those pickup artists, fucking idiots, that go out to random chicks in like the mall and then they do something weird. You want to see a magic trick? Like that sounded really creepy. Like you could tell I'm not one of those guys. But like they do cold approach. Basically, they don't know the girl and they just randomly come up and like, oh, do you come to this mall often? Because the stars in the sky, they look like the twinkles in your toes. Like they say dumbass stuff like that. And it's literally same point is when you're sending shotgun approach, number one, automatic readers will filter half of the application and most likely it's going to be yours. Unfortunately, if you don't have a CS degree. I applied to IBM. They didn't even bother looking at my application. And this is also going to make my point more relevant to you guys in a second. I'll come back to IBM. But that's the same thing as, doing like that pickup artist in the mall, randomly approaching chicks, as sending your application to random people to get hired using the shotgun approach. It will never work. But let me give this example in dating. Let's say my friend Felix, he knows Joanna. She's a really good friend. And I'm Felix's best friend. Joanna's really cool. I'm really cool. Felix likes me and respects me as a friend. He could vouch for me. He could say, hey, Paul is not creepy, you know, he'll be cool. And so he could introduce me to Joanna. He'd be like, hey, Joanna, if you're interested, you could say no. But by the way, I have a friend, Paul. He's a really cool guy. Why don't you at least meet him for coffee, right? And she'll be like, oh, I trust Felix. He's not a creeper. So his friend Paul must be a stand-up guy. And she'll be willing at least not hire me, but or go on more dates with me, but at least she'll be willing to have that one cup of coffee. And this is the secret to getting hired, is that you have to either work with recruiters when you're starting out. There's lots of good recruiters. Don't let the bad press hurt you about recruiters. Very important that you work with them, or make friends in the community that could give you that referral. So coming back to this IBM story where I did not get hired, they totally rejected my resume because I didn't have a college degree by those automatic readers. My friend said to me, Paul, if you gave me your resume, you would have at least got an interview guaranteed, because he would refer me to their hiring manager and they would have put my resume on top of the pile. And that's actually the benefit you get working with recruiters. And I can't underestimate this fact. Like, I now get a lot of recruiters. I have friends who are recruiters, and she's a really good person, like, at heart. So I know not all recruiters are complete idiots. There's plenty of good recruiters, because a lot of them, they want to place you at your first job, and they also want to be able to place you to your mid-level and senior level job. They want to help you out because it's a win-win situation for everybody. So that's what I would say. And before we come back to our next article and my opinions on how to build experience. By the way, if you guys didn't smash the like button, why should you smash the like button? Not because of my wonderful voice talking to you guys to this camera, but because the community, you guys asking these awesome questions, by liking, you're saying, I appreciate all of the people there in the comments throwing those comments, talking, continuing this conversation. That's what and by the way, if you're gonna hate, you could hate, of course. The world is huge. You guys don't have to like me, but why would you like me anyway? But I do try my best to share my experience of all my struggles, how I failed, and blah, blah, blah. And let me do the questions in order, guys. Scaredy, hello, I know basics of React. Can I apply for a job as a junior or study more? By the way, you should always start applying whenever you can, just so you could start getting feedback. So if you're applying and you're not getting any feedback, you're like, okay, maybe I need more portfolio projects in my resume. Maybe I need to write my resume. So you could think of applying now, even though you're not going to get hired, is interview practice, something that's going to make you better at interviewing. What should you know for basic React before applying? In the most basic sense, you should be able to build a React website from scratch where you're able to use an API and display that data on screen. And a simple, that would be in the most basic case, is you should build some sort of website that is able to connect to some sort of API. A lot of people do these GitHub projects where you're able to look up GitHub users. I'll actually show you by example. I hope here, one project I built, and this is by following Tyler McGinnis' course. But you should be able to build something similar to this from scratch as the most basic application. So here is the application. Let me screen share for you here. So this is the application. Basically what it does, based on the language here, it will fetch the top 30 repositories for either HTML, CSS. So basically this is a React application where you're writing some React logic that does some basic filtering and gets that data from an API and display it. And then you could do something like this. This feature has this battle feature where you could put a name of someone, Paul Braslavsky, an actual person that you're talking to right now. Braslavsky, I can't even write my name. I'll use random person. I wonder if there's the name B on. Of course, someone named B on GitHub is probably super legit. So it looks me up. So again, I'm not like doing any logic that writes to a database, but I'm talking to an API and I'm retrieving data that displays on the screen. I click submit. I guess there's this person B. This guy B, by the way, check out B's profile on GitHub. That picture is amazing. But you hit battle and it will show you who the winner. B is going to win B is phenomenal. Look, it's a baby smoking a cigarette next to a chicken. How wouldn't that guy have a stellar score on GitHub with a picture like that? I'm a loser apparently, but that's okay. But what I'm showing you here, it's basic. In the most basic sense, this is the type of React application you should make, that is getting some data from an API and you're doing some form of logic to it, like a little game where you're comparing data from one person, data to another person. So I hope that helped to answer your question. Moving on, have you taken any LinkedIn courses? Should you recommend them? Unless they're free. There's so many people that, okay, let me be careful here. I have some friends that, one friend, he's working on a LinkedIn course, and then this other guy, I'm not friends with him, I don't even like him, he has a LinkedIn course. So yes and no. Like, let me break this down. If you want to pay someone money where they took all their knowledge and packaged it and present to you, do it, because it's going to save you time, because that's time you don't have to waste yourself. I buy courses all the time. Why? Yeah, I could learn this thing on my own, but why? Like, I bought a... Somebody asked me, what is the most expensive course you bought? I bought this course. It was on sale. It was $1,500. That course, when it's not on sale, it's $3,000. I thought I got a deal, $1,500. It was a course which is an amazing course. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you're going to be like, okay, it was a YouTube, how to be successful on YouTube course. I got to finish that course so I could actually learn how to be successful. But the reason I bought it, because it's an excellent course. It has so much amazing information that it would take me years to look and find all that stuff. So not only did I save time, I got information from professionals in the field that are successful on YouTube, and they give you exactly the things that you have to do. The reason why I don't follow that to the T and why my channel's not blowing up, I don't want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a programmer. I just use YouTube to help me kind of, because it's fun, you know, and if it becomes successful, it will, but I don't want to treat it like a job, you know, because it's not my job. But anyway, I found a lot of value in that course and I bought it. So LinkedIn course is basically, then you decide how much you want to spend, what is it worth to you. But if it's from a valid person who themselves have an amazing LinkedIn, and if they prove that everybody who took the LinkedIn course got a stellar LinkedIn. But by the way, if you have no experience, like, what is your LinkedIn going to do for you? You know what I mean? What is it going to do for you? Nothing. So but basically yes and no. If you find a good course and you want to save time, buy it and make sure you do it. But before you buy a course, and some people are going to hate me because I'm like, I shouldn't say it, because some people want to sell you a LinkedIn course and buy a course from a reputable person. When my friend releases his course, I will talk about it. I don't want to say who it is, but once they release their course, I will tell you about it because I trust this person. But for now, listen, should you buy a LinkedIn course? If you go to my LinkedIn, because my LinkedIn is okay, it's not the best, go to my LinkedIn profile and compare it to yours. Be like, does my LinkedIn look kind of like Paul does? And there's some other people that have amazing LinkedIn profiles. Go through it and kind of see, like, okay, he has his resume. This guy right here, by the way, Adrian has an amazing profile. So go check out Adrian's profile too on LinkedIn. You could Google him on LinkedIn or whatever you do on LinkedIn. But basically what I'm saying, before you buy a LinkedIn course, find some good examples of LinkedIn profiles. Mine is okay. You know, I have my experience. You know, I have, you know, the skills that I'm endorsed. Make sure you guys do this. Like, make sure, like, I have my recommendations, you know, and stuff like that. I know Adrian's LinkedIn basically follows the same format. So go through that and ask yourself, does my LinkedIn look this way at least? And if your LinkedIn doesn't look like this, at least do the bare minimum like I did, like Adrian did, and get your LinkedIn up to par. And then if you're still not getting traction, you could buy a course. There's some value in those. So I hope that answered your question. I see some fire emojis. Fantastic. Let me just say hi to some people, then I come back to questions. We got some hand claps. What's up, Big B420? DXT, what's up? Great to see you here. New subscriber. He found me from watching John Smilga. Of course, I didn't get to respond to the comment yet, but I will, my brother, because I was going to do this live stream. But man, thank you so much for joining our channel, joining the stream, and stay hungry. 100% want to know how I get these cars. Lol, not a good pickup line. This is when you know you made it. If you make that work. Nothing wrong with double negation. Yep. Let's see here. I'm reading it backwards. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's start from here in order. When you learn so many modern technologies, you end up working as a WordPress developer. That's funny. But the funny part about that, here's the thing. You need to pick one path to learn. Because when you learn one path, transitioning to a second path becomes easier. If you try to go on 5 different paths at the same time, it's like spinning your wheels. That's not good. But the reason I like that, you know, because Wu got a great job offer, and he's working with a new technology that was not what he's working with. And this is the point. If you develop good skill in one technology, understand how it works, learning and moving to another technology is not going to be that much more difficult. And that's why I tell people, start with what's popular and in demand in your area and stick with it until you get hired, and then move on to something else. And Wu is actually going for his other second job. And yes, there's nothing wrong with WordPress. Whatever makes you happy, 100%. And that's how I started. I was working on WordPress at a digital marketing company when I started, really just writing HTML and CSS. But that's still experience that counts. Yep, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Like if the web app is a hit and massive revenue, you still look like around, yeah, 100%. Nothing wrong with it. Blah, 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 blah. Greetings from Cuba. That's awesome. I have a friend from Cuba. He always tells me, you got to go and visit Cuba. It's awesome. There's a lot of cool classic cars because apparently it's a thing. A lot of people like restoring them and driving them around. Also, I went to my friend's house. Actually, his name is Rivar Diaz, but he's Cuban. So we call him Cuba. Amazing guy, by the way. And Dixie, thanks for a great channel. Dude, I went to his house to have dinner. And we had beans and rice. The way you make beans and rice is different from what anybody else does. And unless you have Cuban bean and rice, you have no, and then the way you make your meat, of course, you have no idea what you're talking about. I love me some Cuban food, and my friend is moving to Florida. I can't wait to visit him. So that'll be amazing, man. But man, lots of love. Amazing to have you guys here. And then let's talk in the chat a bit, and then we'll continue with what we are doing. Talk about how you go with no experience and what you do. Like, how do you get your first job? And so it is, you know, we're gonna continue work with that and move forward. But let me just make sure there's no new comments coming in. By the way, if you haven't smashed the like button, smash that like button until, you know, the thing likes the thing, you know. Carne de puerco, I don't know if I pronounce it right. Pork, yeah, pork meat, yes. Man, dude, there's also this dessert they make. I don't, yep, represent right there. I know exactly the food you're talking about. Not to like completely go off topic here. Funny story. So like a lot of my friends, man, you always, when I was dating, I don't date anymore, but people were like, whenever you, and I've always been in long-term relationships, and this is because of the food. So my first real relationship was with an Italian woman because Italian cooking. Then I married a girl from Mexico because who doesn't like carne asada? You know what I mean? Mexican food is amazing. Amazing. And then, you know, now like by the way, like I had a girlfriend who was American. Not American food, what is that? I mean, barbecue, good barbecue, but then I should have dated someone from Texas. But my fiance now, it's going to be my wife, she's from Thailand, and Thai food is phenomenal because I love spicy food. It's hilarious. But back at topic, did you use a template for your resume? Yes, and I did use a template, and I bought the template, and I will remember where, like, I keep forgetting, where did I buy that template? They actually sponsored my channel and gave me affiliate links, but I haven't been using them because I was like I don't want to randomly push stuff. But then I ended up using their template, and it's phenomenal. And if I were to push that affiliate link, I would do it, but I'm not going to do it yet. But I'm going to see, find where. Yeah, let me go like check it out. I'll put it like hologram nunchucks because you're here always. Or email me hologram nunchucks at codingafter30@gmail.com. I'll send you the link that I use. I can't remember for the top of my life here. So DXT, so you still in Cuba? You try to talk about hiring and working through crypto because we are almost unable to get paid through regular channels. And is that something that you guys are dealing with there right now? That is insane. That is insane. If your monetary system where you live, I don't know if that's true. I'm just assuming is not where it needs to be. So if you want to work, you're trying to get some sort of payment that actually going to have some value. I don't know anything about Cuba's politics, so I don't know if that's actually what's happening, but that's insane. Insane. Stop talking to all the Asians, bro. Tech Rally always likes, like, Tech Rally, you know, every time I see him, I forget that he's in his 30s, but because he looks like a baby, but that's because of that Asian skin he's got. We love Tech Rally. Tech Rally, we love you. Everybody loves you, bro. If you guys never been Tech Rally's channel, check out his channel. It's amazing. So moving on, we're talking about, like, I have no experience. What's next? What do I do? So we're randomly looking at some articles because we all want to get opinions from online how to get hired. And then I give my opinion of what I think is legit and what's not. And it's more of a vehicle to spark a conversation, to talk about things that work. By the way, let's get to the next article here and move down. And by the way, anything you want to talk in the chat, anything you want to ask me, I'm here for you guys. I'm here with love, even with no love. Like, sometimes I get haters and they do a ruckus. But if they have a good question, I'll answer a good question. But if they do something stupid, then I ban them. But none of you guys here are like that, so I'm not even worried about it. But what I'm saying is, don't be shy, ask questions, because I will give your questions love for sure. For sure. By the way, if you haven't smashed the like button, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Just go smash that like button. Smash that like button. You want to see that thumbs up? You could go give me a thumb down too, whatever, you know. Like, you can't be popular if someone doesn't like you, so it's just gonna make my ego feel even better. I'm just kidding. The point is, I don't care what happens as long as I bring value to you guys. So whenever I'm saying something that you're like, oh, this makes no sense to us, Paul, like, let me know, because I want to make sure that the content you're getting from me is stuff that I'm making to move you to your job, get you hired, get you making that money. But I know there's people push money, everything. But at the same time, I'm pushing the opposite side of that. If you're not skilled enough, you're not going to get the money. So think skill, develop your experience, then the money will come. Money will come. Money will get you. If you have what people want, you will get that experience. That's why I don't talk about money. One of my viewers just left because I said money's not. Talk about what? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. People come and go. I'm welcome anytime. So moving on, here's an article. No experience. How do you get a programming job? I recently graduated. I've heard this over and over again. All these jobs posting say 5 years of experience is required, but I've been in school this whole time. How am I supposed to get experience? And the same question comes from people who aren't in school, but who are switching over from a different industry and they have no qualifying experience. I see some thumbs up flying. Much respect to you guys. The good news, it's not a really valid excuse. Yes, degree doesn't guarantee a job. Yes, smart. Degree doesn't guarantee a job, but if you have a degree, it helps. 100% it helps. So don't, if someone says Paul is not for coding CS degree, you don't know me. if I was younger and I had money to like or didn't have money, if I was young enough, I would get a CS degree 100%. But I'm too old. I'm 41. I'm not going to go back to school. Not saying that you couldn't. If you can, if that allows you, you should definitely do it. But for me and where I am in my life, if I could get a job without it, which is really difficult, that's the path I took. So degrees simply do not guarantee a fantastic job, but they definitely help a lot. Then he tries to give his opinions. Degrees are specific or very broad. There are many other graduations with the same degree as you, lots of competition. This is nonsense. If you have a degree and I don't, and your portfolio is as good as my portfolio, you're gonna get a job, right? If you have a degree and you have a portfolio and your portfolio is as good as my portfolio, you're gonna get a job. If you have a degree and you have a portfolio and I have a portfolio and your portfolio or my portfolio is a little bit better than yours, you're still gonna get a job because you have a degree and you have a portfolio that not as good as mine, but it's close enough. But if you have a degree, no portfolio, or your portfolio sucks, and I have an amazing portfolio, I'm gonna get a job. That's just the truth about degrees. No sugarcoating there. So you can't get hired, but I don't want to try to tell you lies, guys. But here's how you get experience without working a job. While you're studying in school, you attend lecture, receive homework assignments, take quizzes. In between all those things, you joyfully work on hobbies, hang out with friends, play video games. Yeah, stop playing video games 100%. Blah, blah, blah. So here's the meaty part. Create a side project that you could put down in your portfolio. Yeah, that's obvious. Contribute to open source projects. That's a good one. I've never done this one personally, so I can't comment on that, but I know people contribute to source projects, and it looks really good on your resume when you could put that, because you can't count that as experience, especially if you have, record to show it. Starting a side business 100%, and that's kind of what I did. My first initial experience here, we looked at LinkedIn. We started junior JavaScript developer at Fluid Logic. This is something my friend and I started, and this is a great way because whenever people come to your LinkedIn profile, they don't see here aspiring developer, but they see that side hustle job that you started, and that experience counted. That experience of a year and a half allowed me to continue to get development jobs to eventually land where I am today, working as a software engineer at this company. So yeah, that's actually a pretty legitimate tip. And then picking up books related to your job you like to have, and writing reviews and posting them on personal blog. I don't know if I would write stuff like, if you want to get a job, I agree with this, writing stuff on Medium or having a blog where you talk about, if you want to get a job as a developer, not so much reviewing reviews for jobs, related jobs, but actually write code content. So I'll show you some examples. So instead of writing a blog like he's talking about, in your blog, talk about coding, talk about that you're involved, you're doing stuff. So let's go to my LinkedIn here. And I like to lead by example. So I haven't posted blog on my website. So check this out. So this is what I say. If you have no experience, one good way to build experiences, you start a blog. Use WordPress like I did here. I have a website called Coding After 30. Listen, I'm going to call myself out. Paul, your last article was in 2020. You're a lunatic. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. So by the way, I was able to get a job, so I kind of stopped doing this. But the point what I'm saying is, start a blog, write about things you're learning like I'm doing here. So this is a recent article. It's so recent that it's not finished, but in this article, I show you how to apply fetch, filter, and render some data in JavaScript using JavaScript tutorial. You could actually see the working thing here. This is what the UI looks like, and then you could check it out in CodePen, right? This is like the thing that I did. You could filter by name, right? You could filter by name. You could filter by searching stuff, like this. And so it's like very basic thing that I made. And what I did is, since I already made it, I wrote an article about it. You see, I used some beautiful code examples that if you're too lazy writing the code, you could literally copy and paste it. If you're really lazy, you could just see the full code in the CodePen. And I wrote this beautiful, and it's not beautiful, it's actually really probably not as good as I give it credit to, but I'm not going to make fun of my own stuff. It's a beautiful article, talks about what I did, how I used it, how we got data from an API, bunch of examples. And then what you do is, let me close these additional windows that we don't need. Oh, I also saw a couple of questions. Did I use resume template for your resume? Yes, I bought my template. I forgot, I already answered it. So let me come back to this idea. And then what you do is you go to your LinkedIn and look, I wrote a post. And on top of that, I also gave some credit to somebody who actually talked about this a lot. Code Foundry talks about this a lot. Start a blog, even though I knew about this beforehand, but I like Code Foundry. They talk about it. So I also, wanted to shout out. So they talk about, so what I did, I posted the article that I wrote on LinkedIn, and when people see this, how to fetch and run the data, I'm literally writing an article about code. So when recruiters come to my LinkedIn and they see that half of my content is not cat photos of doing crazy stuff, but it's actually code related stuff. It's stuff, and I posting, I have my own website, I'm doing code related stuff. They're gonna be like, oh, this guy is obviously a developer, because all his stuff that he writes is about development. And people that are hiring, they actually see my code and they could be like, wow, he's actually writing good code. It makes sense. And this is one of my favorite ways to start to build experience. Yes, it's work. Yes, it's a lot of effort, but this is sometimes what you gotta do. And here's me not just preaching and talking, but this is me talking about the thing that you should do, and me doing the thing that I'm talking about you doing, that I'm doing because I did it, to build your reputation to do it. You know what I'm saying? If that made sense to you, smash the like button. That's what I'm saying. If that made sense to you, which it should, smash the like button. But that's kind of what I'm getting at. So that I agree with. And then he just talks a bunch of stuff. It requires sacrifice. Tell me something I don't know. It requires work hard, requires sacrifice. Yeah, obviously. And then he promotes and then he says, this is very important. Instead of watching 2 episodes, 3 episodes of your favorite thing, spend that time coding. Obviously, I don't watch. Guys, let me break this down to you. Okay. Again, wherever I am on my journey, I'm going to say this to you guys. I work and I make $40 an hour. The reason I'm telling you this is because, let me just put this into perspective for you. Should I make more? Maybe. Should I make less? I don't know. But the point is, my hour of my time is worth $40. When I play, and people who don't get this concept will say stuff like, but you're doing it on your free time. Here's the thing. My hour is worth $40. When you watch Netflix, that's potential $40. An hour of Netflix is potential $40 of value that I'm missing out. And then people will say, but Paul, you're not at work. You're watching Netflix on your free time. You should, by the way, you should have fun. You should watch Netflix. You should do stuff, but just have this in the back of your mind. That's $40 of value. And if I'm not at work, I'm not, because sometimes I get people come in, I just want to smack them. When I'm not at work, and I sit down in front of my Xbox and I want to play a video game, I might play only for 30 minutes or an hour. I might not even play at all, because this is how my mind, Paul, you're not at work, but you're at home. You get paid $40 an hour, but you're at home right now. You're not working. Your hour of your time is worth $40. What can you do right now that would add more value to your skill in this 1 hour that's worth $40 right now? Instead of playing a game, what valuable task can you do that's going to raise your value as a programmer, as a developer, that not only in your next job you could ask for $50, $60? How can you raise your value? And this is how you're supposed to think, right? And this is kind of like when you're at home, you need to understand your time matters, and the value that you get paid at your job is based on the thing that you did before you got that job. That's studying, that working, building your reputation. And that's why when I look at every hour of my day, when I want to play Xbox, I think I am throwing away $40 right now to play 1 hour of Xbox. And I'll still play it, but I still remember, dude, there are more valuable things that you could be doing that will help you to rise to the top of your level to crush it. And if that made sense to you or not, let me know. And I like that they're referring to Tech Rally Asian Persuasion or somebody else. Thumbs up. I love it. I don't have any real questions yet. You have answered the questions I didn't even have to ask. The Big B 420, I love you. Thank you always for coming on. Really love you here. DXT, it helps for the first 5 years only. And yeah, thank you. And 100% true. This is one thing, like I talked to a lot of people that have over 5 years of experience. They don't even have a portfolio at this point anymore. And they still get a lot of jobs. After that, it's nothing about the degree. And then like going forward, they literally just look at your past positions. Like this is how people hire eventually. They're like, oh, he worked at Google, then he moved to Amazon. Hired, you know what I mean? They'll do an interview to make sure you actually know what the hell you're talking about. But a lot of times when you have that experience, that's exactly how it is. But when you're starting out, a lot of the little things matter. Like even in my position now with reaching 3 years of experience, I'm getting recruiters calling. They don't even look at my portfolio anymore. They literally look at my resume, my past experience, and that's what they're reaching out. Yes, and the degree is for big companies or any company that still makes it important. And unfortunately, some of those companies you won't get hired because it might be like a hard stop. And government jobs, yes. Nice banner you got on LinkedIn. Yeah, I got it from my marketing skills. When people come in, they get a snap. I got to change it though because I don't do C# anymore. But they get a snapshot of kind of what I'm all about. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, GraphQL, React, boom. I gotta throw some cat photos there for sure. Like actually, this is a big weakness for me because I have 2 cats. I love my cats. Like that's how I tell you guys. You gotta keep your LinkedIn professional. It's not Facebook. It's not Twitter or Twitter, whatever it's called, and or any social media, Facebook. But I would love to put cat photos, but LinkedIn is for professional business only. That's why I love cats so much. But I don't post cat photos on LinkedIn. And that's hard. Scott says what we talk about makes sense. I hope so, you know, because I am the random dude on YouTube who started as a random dude who had no job to a random dude who has a job. And then I just love chatting and telling you my experience, what it's like. And there's plenty of people that have their own experience, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows that everybody talks. There's no thing like 3 months and I get a high-paying job. Maybe you got lucky, whatever. We could argue this forever. Tech Rally, it requires sacrifice, yeah. Time spent on one thing is time not spent on another. And they're all true, by the way, and I hope you guys are doing them. The time value of money, yes, 100%. That is awesome. And that's kind of like what we talked about. So, and yeah, so we could continue looking at articles, but just to kind of, before I look up some more articles, let's kind of talk about what I think. Yeah, no, that guy is awesome. I love having him. It's just phenomenal that he like agreed to even talk to me because like I'm just this dude on internet. But he's an amazing guy. I really like him. And like really good content, and I know there's more content coming. I know there's more content coming from John, which is going to be phenomenal. So I'm very pumped up and psyched for it. And also the 8 videos that I yet to have to release. I'm going to work on one on Sunday and hopefully release on Monday that I have to edit. But here's the thing. Before we continue like to the rest of the stuff, and you know, instead of like making a bajillion hour long stream, here's the things that you need to do. Number 1, you have to make a decision what stack or direction you want to go, and say to yourself, this is the stack that I'm going to do, and I'm not going to switch until I get a job. And that's super important. Make a commitment to a tech stack. If you're going to do Python and Django, do Python and Django until you get hired. If you do WordPress and Laravel, or WordPress with, Python, PHP and Laravel, or WordPress and PHP, do that only until you get hired. Yeah, and if you're going to do React with JavaScript, do only that until you get hired. So pick a direction. And DXT, yeah, all I know I learned with his free courses, not even on Udemy. What's phenomenal is John is such an amazing guy that he gives so much stuff away on YouTube that I got pissed at him at the beginning because I was like, I bought your goddamn course. Why you give so much value away? But then I'm like, the guy just has a big heart and he literally does this to help people out. And then after that, I was like, I'll buy all his courses, even though even if I don't take them. I took all his courses, by the way. They're phenomenal. And I recommend his HTML, CSS, his JavaScript, his React, and his Node.js course. Like, if you've never done anything before, they are freaking amazing. They're amazing courses. But beyond that, okay, so number one, pick a direction. Number two, learn the goddamn language that you want to get a job in. I'm not saying become a master, but learn the basics. Don't spend too much time. Learn HTML, CSS, learn JavaScript, learn React, and build a bunch of stuff with them. Like, learn the basics that you know what you're talking about. You should be able to, at a bare minimum, with the tech that you learned, you should be able to make a simple website, kind of like I showed you my GitHub app, that at least gets data from an API. You should be able to make that by yourself. That's number two. Learn the goddamn thing that you want to get a job in. Like, if you don't know it, how are you going to get a job? You're not going to be able to answer the question. So what I recommend, and if I had my own courses, I would recommend my own courses, but I recommend courses that I did take, and we do have links in the description. And I sound like every freaking YouTube that promotes stuff. Listen, I'm not going to make any money. Like, no, those are affiliate links, by the way. If you click on them and you buy it, I will get like $1 or $2. But the point is, my goal on this YouTube channel is not make money with YouTube. I make money at my job. I want to make money from my personal coaching business. Yes, at some point, I'm going to ask and promote one-on-ones, learning basics of JavaScript, basics of React. I want to provide a service. I don't want to get money off YouTube. I want to have a product that I sell, and maybe one day I have a course. That's how I want to make money. And I'm upfront with you guys because, like, that's what I want to tell you guys. And I want to be truthful with you. But the reason I have John Smilga courses, HTML, the same course in the description, is because those are the courses that I took that I benefited from the most because of the amount of projects that you do. You do stupid amount of projects. You get sick and tired of JavaScript by the time you're done with this course because of how many goddamn projects you've done. And you actually learn what you're doing. And that's why I like his courses. And anybody I coach, by the way, there's this girl I coach. I said, look, buy these courses. And if you have any questions, I'm going to kind of guide your process based on this outline. And she was able to get a job because they're good. And do you have to buy them? No, you don't have to buy anything. But I'm just saying, like, if you were to buy them, like, they're really good courses. And I took them, and I'm going to revisit them whenever I forget something because they're that good. And there's a lot of courses. And here's the thing. Let me tell you this, by the way. If you already have Udemy courses, don't buy any more. Finish the ones that you have. Obviously. Otherwise, you're going to end up like me, who has 300 courses, spend over $3,000 on Udemy. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and this is 100% true. The man only charges 20% of the knowledge he sells. He really gives a lot of valuable stuff for free. This is Coding Addict on YouTube. And yeah, it's true. Like, you have better chance of getting hired as a front-end developer. This is why I recommend React. A lot of opportunities to get hired, right? Very important. And getting hired as a full-stack developer is much harder. And on top of it, not only is it much harder, the interview process is much harder because they ask more deeper algo-specific or data structure questions, because a lot of times that's what you're dealing with on the back end. There is no pretty UI for you to feast your eyes. So you're working with more complicated stuff and logic on the back end. So the first thing, right, we talked about, pick a track. The second thing, actually learn the thing that you're learning. Third thing, once you learn what you're learning, you need to build 3 to 5 amazing projects for your portfolio. The first one, like I showed earlier when I shared my screen, you need to have HTML, CSS, and Java. And this is speaking from the standpoint of React, by the way. If you're a full backend, you might have to build these projects slightly differently. But build a projects where you have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript project. Number two, you need to build a simple React application that at least fetches data from API and does some sort of filtering or some sort of lookup that looks cool. And number three, build a React application which has authentication and has full CRUD functionality. Create, read, update, I can't count well, and delete, right? You need that CRUD functionality in your application. And it needs to be pretty good where you have a login. People could log in, they could add their data, they could delete the stuff that they're doing. Like a project management is a good example. The app that I'm building on my Tuesday night stream, that's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Another one that Coder Foundry recommends is build a bug tracker, amazing application, because everything, the knowledge that you need to build that is going to get you hired. And so build that. Once you know what you're doing, once you learn the code that you need to learn, once you have 3 to 5 projects in your portfolio, this is the next step. Number one, you switch from learning to promoting. You need to promote yourself as a developer. In step 4, once you have your portfolio, once you have the knowledge, once you have this one, the bare minimum. And by the way, while you're doing all that stuff, you need to have GitHub. You need to start promoting yourself. So a bare minimum, you should have, I call this resume websites. A resume website is basically a resume website that, and if you don't have all the data, don't stop yourself. Set this resume website up, even if you don't even have a resume. And I purposely left my portfolio out here because people that tell me, I don't have a portfolio, how am I supposed to have a site? Don't put your portfolio into your goddamn site. It's still good. Set up a resume website. Here's an example of mine. It talks about me a little bit, what I do, talks about the tech that I use, and talks about my professional experience. If you don't have it, you could omit it. I omitted my portfolio section because I'm redoing it, and a way for people to contact you, right? And then you need to have that because you need to put this intent. I am a developer. This is what I do. You got to put this intent out there. So start with your resume website. Number 2, you need to have a LinkedIn. How people gonna find you on LinkedIn if you don't have it? And then little by little, start making it look all nice and pretty. Getting, people, if you have no experience, we'll talk about later how to build it on LinkedIn. But get at least getting some endorsements on the stuff that is pertaining to your job that you want to get hired. Try to get some recommendation. You need a LinkedIn, right? Once you have a LinkedIn, make sure you've been putting stuff on GitHub. People want to see your GitHub. People want to see that you're doing stuff. Is Paul a developer? Is Paul I don't know. Let's look. By the way, I was being an idiot in 2016 through 2015 through 2014, 2013. I could have gotten a job earlier, but I was an idiot watching too much Netflix and doing too many video games. But 2017, still lunatic. 2018 started doing more. 2019, getting after it. 2020, killing it. 2021, murdering it. You know what I'm saying? So you need to. And killing it here. And so you need to have a GitHub here, and I'll get to one of your questions here in just a second because I want to finish the last final thought here. And then you need to make sure that's the ugly this is the ugly like get a resume up, and we could talk about how to write your resume. But once you decide what you have to learn, once you learn the thing that you have to learn, once you build 3 to 5 portfolio projects, this is what you need: a resume, not in any particular order. You need to have your, did I close it? Where's it? I closed it. You need to have your resume site. Well, you need to have your GitHub, and no, that's not it. And you have to have your resume site. Let me pull that up so I could do it in order. So once you have a portfolio, you need to start marketing yourself as a developer. You need a resume site. I'm repeating myself, I know. You need to have a LinkedIn, and you need to have good history on GitHub as a bare minimum. It's just 100%. And then the next step, once you have the bare minimum and you're getting people, you're throwing out your resume. If you're not getting callbacks, you got to tweak your resume, you got to tweak your experience. We could talk about that later. But then you need to start prepping for interviews. This is where you start, like, okay, what are the most common JavaScript questions that I should know for an interview? What is the most common React questions I need to know at the review? Do research of companies. If I'm applying for a company, you best know I'm going to go on Glassdoor or other places and then find out what kind of interview questions they ask so I could be more prepared, and then prepare for those interview questions. If they ask more about, building certain components, like they'll give you an hour and you have to build something, that's the type of stuff you prepare for. If they ask for algorithmic type of questions, you unfortunately need to spend some time and prepare for that. And I'm all for algorithms, but I'm starting them learning now. Just now, but I didn't start learning them until I already had 3 to 5 portfolio projects and was already getting interviews. If you're not getting interviews, what's the point of learning that stuff if you're not even able to get an interview? You get what I'm saying? But that's when you start working on studying and prepping for interviews. And if you're still not able to get experience, if you're still not able to build any steam, you start doing stuff like this, where you have a website that you started like a blog, like I have Coding After 30. You write articles like I did here, and you could share parts of stuff on Medium to get a little bit more clout. But if you're writing stuff on Medium, what I would say, write a smaller article for Medium, and then be like, if you want to like read more, check out my website. Always push people to your own platform. But writing articles and sharing them on LinkedIn, you see how, like, I wrote an article, I shared it here on LinkedIn, and one of my good friends, and he's going to be on the stream soon, Vahid, look at his LinkedIn here. Let me go to his LinkedIn. Amazing dude. Bam, you already know what he does. He does Django development, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Python. I don't want to take credit because he's doing all the work, but he came up with this idea, basically what he wanted to do. He started originally with React and JavaScript, and I told him, look, do what makes sense to you. And he actually switched to Django because where he was, and Python, because that makes sense for him. And what he started to do, which also I stole part of his example, because I kept talking about self-promotion. He started to post content, around, and look, he's got endorsement in the things that we're doing, but look, he posts content about Python. So when people go on his LinkedIn, they're like, oh, damn, he does pandas for beginning. Like, he's a Python guy, and, Django developer, like, he's marketing himself as a developer. He's posting content on LinkedIn. So if you're still not getting jobs, start building your reputation doing this. So let's come back here, look at the questions, because, oh my God, I didn't share my screen. How long did I not share my screen? Oh my God. Fucking idiot. Sorry, I'm sorry at myself again. But there's what I'm saying. This guy right here. Let me backtrack. I don't know how much you missed. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, I got to be better at it. I just get so caught up because I'm so passionate about sharing this with you guys. Look at his LinkedIn here. And what he does, he posts on his LinkedIn all the stuff regarding what he does with Python, little tutorials. So when people land on his LinkedIn, don't you think they're taking him a little bit more serious, because all his content about development stuff and learning to code. So anyway, that's what I want to say. So let's finish up the stream by going through the chat. Yep. More thumbs up. Yep, okay, I seen this. Yeah, seriously, there's a lot of giveaways on Twitter. I sign up for everything. I'm so bad. I gotta get better. And I hope you're still here. Sorry it took me a while to get to your question. Sorry, Paul, this is the last downer question. What do you do if you failed in the past and people doubt your ability to become a developer? First of all, like, I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you're younger than I am or older than I am. I started my journey like 2013. That's when I set up my GitHub. I kept failing until 2019. And some people can't or don't have the stomach for that type of kind of setback. But that's what happened to me. But part of it, by the way, before you don't get discouraged, it's my fault. I didn't apply myself. I wasn't honest about how much effort I was putting into coding. I wasn't honest and doing the work. I started to do the work seriously in 2017, and my GitHub shows. And by 2019, I got my job. And the thing that I'm going to tell you is that if you're still struggling, first of all, send me an email at codingafter30@gmail.com. I'd love to talk to you more in person, just to kind of give you some more personalized feedback and kind of see and hear your story, to kind of give you the steps that you could take today to succeed. And if anybody else wants to reach out to me, you're more than welcome to email me with stuff like that. I know a lot of you guys took me up on my offer to send me a free email and have a chat with me. I chat with people all the time, so don't be shy. But what I'm going to tell you is that it takes, every time you have a setback, that means that you're taking the steps to move forward. And when you move forward, you're going to fall, you're going to trip. You need to get up, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and continue. Everybody goes through that. You're going to have so many people in your family say, oh, why you can't be a developer, you're not smart enough, or you're starting too late, you're too old, or like you can't do it because of this. There's always going to be haters. They're always going to tell you that. And let me say this to you. What's worse? Trying your best to pursue a goal that you believe you want to accomplish and you're willing to do what it takes for next 3-5 years, even though there's no guarantee, or to live the same life you live for the next 3 to 5 years. Now, if you're currently happy where you are, there's nothing wrong with that. But if this is what you want, this is what you want to do, don't listen to anybody. Figure out a path and literally send me an email. I'd love to talk to you. I will want to hear what you've been doing, and then I'll try my best to help you to create an action plan that you could take to move forward. And I'm willing to do this with anybody if you're willing to listen. And so that's what I recommend you would do. And don't give up. Keep pushing through. So many people that I talk to, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's possible to get a job, but it does require specific steps and doing specific things that people want to see you have. 16 projects. Like, that's a lot of projects. Represent. And 100%. Prove them wrong. And that's what I have a cousin. Hope she watches this live stream because this is hilarious. She always, she knows what I used to do. She knows I used to do martial arts forever. And I have do you know what black sheep is? I'm the black sheep of the family. Basically, I'm the guy that people make stories about that your kids shouldn't be like. They're like, oh man, I hope your son doesn't turn out like Paul. Blah, blah. I'm that guy. I'm that guy in my family. I'm the guy who always kind of failed and didn't quite make it. And that's fine. You know what I mean? And I just don't listen to them. And the funny part, she's like, how did this guy transition from being a MMA instructor, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, fighter, to being a developer? And she would stalk my LinkedIn to be like, is it real? Is he really working at a company? And she never comments at my accomplishment because the whole time she still can't believe how did this idiot cousin of mine, they all love me, don't get me wrong, but how did this idiot cousin of mine make that change? And you're always going to have people, even in your family, they're not going to believe in you, and you just have to just follow the process and do the work, and you will get there. You will get there. I understand the need to be humble, but I'm just wondering if it is still possible to view it as of course possible. Just send me an email. I want to know where you are. The truth is, there's a level of competency that you have to have. And if you don't have it, that's fine. You just have to figure out what steps are left to get there, and then you just have to take those steps. And don't waste your time listening to haters. Don't listen to haters. And that's 100%. Confidence plays a big part of it. And this is why I have this channel. A lot of people, somebody may comment, Paul, you're so positive in your message. Why? Because I know how hard it is to achieve something. And you don't need to have additional negativity in your life. All of you guys, not me, her or anybody here, like we all have negative parts of our life. So why ask for more? And so I want to have an environment where we just focus on the positivity and the steps that you need to take, and screw the naysayers, screw the haters, and just I want to have a community that's positive, that helps us fight this fight together and win. Do I need an intern? I would be willing. Yeah. Yeah. No, are you referring to like my company that I have or whatever, to intern to build experience? Anyway, I answered this so late that I'm like, what's the context? Many YouTubers are lying on how fast person with absolute zero knowledge can learn and quickly land a job as a front end, because they're selling many products and not the truth. So I want to be the YouTuber that eventually has a product to sell, but still tells you it's fucking hard and it's probably going to take you a long time to get there. But don't give up, because if you follow the steps. But yeah, I'm serious about it. Like, here's the thing. I don't mind people selling you stuff. I mind when people sell you a dream because they want to sell you stuff. I don't want to sell you a dream. My channel, if anything, people get discouraged about trying, because like, man, this guy says it's hard. This guy says it's hard to do this thing. Oh God. Yeah, it's hard. And that's why I will never sell you a dream. I will tell you the reality, but I'll tell you that you could get there. And if I one day do my one-on-one coaching, like, I hope you guys like the reason why I want to do valuable content is I want to offer free coaching and have you guys actually get that job based on the value I provide, that you could at some point hire me to do free coaching, even though you're already a developer. You know what I mean? But yeah, many YouTubers are lying. And I don't know, like, I would lying, like misdirection, whatever. Yeah, but they're selling you their dream. And so I don't want to be that channel. Like, I don't want to be that YouTuber. And I want to be fully honest with you guys, and that's why everything I share with you is all my real legit stuff. And yeah, I talked to so many people. They're like this guy who's got a FANG job other than Tech Rally. Tech Rally got a job at FANG, also at Amazon. I got rejected by Amazon, not gonna lie to you guys. It's okay. Yeah, I'm not, my heart is not broken. But this other guy that I talked to, he's like, yeah, it took me 2 years of serious studying. And the guy's, by the way, super smart. To get to where he is, it would take me 4 years, but whatever, But it's hard work. It's hard work. You have to put in the time. You have to gain that knowledge. It's like saying, like, imagine you don't do anything. And me with 18 years of martial art experience and MMA, and you're like, in 3 months, I'm going to learn to fight MMA and jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to be ready to step into the ring with Paul. I'm going to mess you up. That's not how it works. You need to put in your time to build that experience, and that's 100% true. Yeah, and DXT agrees. Applying this knowledge property takes time. You guys, I got to put this up again. This should be like, what do you call it when people capture a quote in your stream, a clip. Applying the knowledge property takes time. Applying this knowledge property takes time. It's 100% true, and this is what you have to do. So working down the list in the comments, I'm definitely getting merch and swag from Big B20. Yeah, I got some good ideas for swag. I got that. It's stupid though because of my sense of humor, but I'll definitely let you know. 100% Tech Rally says knowledge. I'll come back to the top in just a second. Knowledge. I need my books. I read books, knowledge, and my sports card. That's what I need. By the way, I love what the hell is that guy that had ads on YouTube? See, the guy that says knowledge all the time. What is his name? I love the guy because, like, he's a marketer. He could sell like a broken refrigerator to a gypsy. You know what I mean? It's like, actually that makes sense. To an Eskimo, I guess, an ice making machine. That's a more better example. Love, lots of fun. Is there SQL course on recommend, or should I watch SQL crash course on YouTube? Start with that crash course on YouTube, but I took a Postgres on Udemy. But what I would say, watch a crash course on SQL on Udemy first, and then if you feel like you kind of get enough basic understanding of what you need to do, and then you could buy like a course on Udemy when it's on sale for $12. But start on YouTube for sure. I think there's a SQL course on Free Code Camp YouTube channel. Man, you're welcome. And I said, definitely reach me out with that email, codingafter30@gmail. Literally, codingafter30@gmail.com. And thank you for being on the stream, by the way. You're McGregor's cousin. No, more like Khabib's cousin. Me and Khabib wrestled bears because back in Russia, that's what you do as a child. Wrestle. McGregor, he's a good marketer, but he talks way too much smack. I mean, it makes money, but that talk smack and didn't help him when Khabib almost ripped his head off and then flew like an eagle and punched another guy in the face. That was amazing. Thanks for the advice. It's great. That feeling of being heard, and more even by someone like you with your story. Wow, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Tech Rally, we already see it. Ty Lopez, yes, Ty Lopez. Oh my God, Ty Lopez could probably sell you a course on web development, how to become a Python master developer in 3 months or less. Probably Ty Lopez could sell you a course on Python without even doing Python. And that's the power of marketing. That guy makes so much money. And so the lesson to take away from Ty Lopez, don't scam people, but as a developer, develop legitimate skills, and don't be shy selling yourself. Dude, he stole more than his soul. I love Khabib. Khabib, is an amazing human being. And this is why, like, I want to follow Khabib's footsteps on this YouTube channel. Khabib is a beast. He knows what he's talking about. I kind of don't know what I'm talking about, but eventually I get there. But I want to be like Khabib. I want to know my stuff. Want people to turn to me like, dude, this guy knows what he's talking about. But I also want to be respectable. I want to be positive. I don't want to be like McGregor. McGregor is phenomenal. He's an amazing athlete. He built a bajillion-dollar business, but he's a trash talker, and like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy, and I get it. It makes money. You could make more money by being the bad guy and having people not like you, but that's not what I want. And so, with that being said, guys, I need to eat dinner, and we're about to hit 2-hour mark. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to me having you guys just support the stream. I do these lives, and what's interesting about the lives, a lot of YouTubers don't do too many of them because they don't really bring new subscribers. But the reason why I do these lives is because I want to build a friendship with you guys. I want to build a bond. I want you to know that I genuinely want to hear your stories. I care about what you guys do. I share with you guys a lot of the stuff that I do, and I want us to be a tight-knit family that we all grow together, regardless like what happens in the future in terms of like the world ends, whatever. But now, while we're here, let's do this together. Let's stick it out. Let's achieve our goals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there you go, Brad the Eagle nickname. That would be amazing. If it's difficult, that means you're learning something. This is good. Many who start on coding journey do not understand this, and so are discouraged to go on. Yeah, and this is something that I constantly tell people. Enjoy the journey, but understand it's going to be difficult. And part of this journey is falling down and being frustrated. Like, coding is exercise in frustration, and if you know that to be fact, just understand this is going to be part of your journey, and that's okay. And just remember that like, it takes time, and everything you do day by day is you're gonna get better and better. Like the stuff that I know now, like I can't even unlearn it anymore because I over time repeating it, and that's how you're gonna grow. Eventually, you're gonna get to a point where you just know stuff because you put in the time, you put in the work. And I know I thank you guys again, but I want to thank you guys again. You guys, all beautiful people. My God, Artur, I feel so bad every time you come on and I see your comments. It's at the end of my live stream. One day I'm gonna have to do a live stream at a different time that's in your time zone. But thanks for stopping by, saying hello, and thank you for your work. Man, I appreciate you. You're always giving good feedback, and I'm glad to have you here. But guys, I love all of you guys so much. You guys are awesome. This has been such an amazing journey, like doing these lives. If you haven't smashed the like button, what the hell? Just smash the like button. But like this, like I feel blessed to be part of your community. Like like I said before, it just sounds cheesy, but you guys are the bricks that build this community and that hold it up. I am standing like on the bridge that you guys build. Without you, I would not be here. I would be nothing. So I just want to make sure that you guys know this and that I always provide the best value I can to help you guys. And if you guys are being helped, I know I'm going to be helped, right? That's just how the world works. You do enough good things and sometimes good things happen to you, you know. But thank you so much for the time. Love all of you guys. I'll see you guys next stream, which I stream Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, talking about the project that I'm building. So if you're building project for your portfolio and want to see the struggles and me seriously hit my head against the desk because I don't know what I'm doing, watch that stream. And we're also going to have a Saturday stream like this. And there's another stream that's going to happen. I don't know when. There's a super like crazy stream that's going to happen. So I'll let you know when that super secret stream happens. It's going to be awesome though. I'll let you know because you guys won't want to miss that. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Idrissa. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Big B420, Rob, DXT. Yes, your name. I don't want to use a real name. I guess I could. Like I'm just gonna Tech Rally. Thank you, Big B420. So sometimes like I feel weird using people's real names because I don't know if people feel comfortable being with their real names used on stream. DXT, I like, you know, everybody who's been here, Zeke, you know, the amazing people of YouTube, Raymond, amazing. Shout outs to everybody. Scott, NCH, thank you. Man, beautiful stream. Skirty, I probably mispronounced it right. Hologram Nunchucks, Alejandro, man, NCH, phenomenal time, guys. Thanks again, and I will see you guys later. Let's see. Check, you know, I was like gonna do something cool, like turn off my lights cool, but I don't know where my controller is. Make it very dramatic. So I'm just gonna leave you guys going. I'm gonna leave you guys with, you know what? I'm just gonna leave you with a lot of love, happiness. Have the greatest rest of the weekend. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you guys later. You know, is Tech Rally still here? I was gonna make a joke, but that's okay. It's okay. No, thank you guys. I gotta go. I'm out of here. My end button seems to move every time I try to finish the live stream. Where's God damn it, end button? How do you? God damn it, stream. Why I have too many windows. God. The worst exit of these live streams ever. I'm gonna go down in history as the greatest, worst outro on live streams ever. Have a good night, everybody.